we have to find the range of this function y equal to sine inverse of greatest integer function of x squared plus half plus cos inverse of again greatest integer function of x squared minus half. Okay, so now let us do one thing. Let us find out first what what all values x can take. What exactly is the domain, and then we'll figure out. We'll try to figure out the range. What all x can be. Basically, sine inverse of something. Sine of something will always lie between minus 1 to 1. So, obviously, x squared plus half or greatest integer function of x squared plus half should always lie between minus 1 to 1. Similarly, greatest integer function of x squared minus half should always lie between minus 1 to 1. Let us use that condition. So, basically, what we are saying, this entire part should lie between minus 1 to 1, both inclusive. Similarly, this part also should lie between minus 1 to 1 because both are sine inverse and cos inverse. Sine and cos ranges, sine theta, cos theta, they always lie between minus 1 and 1, right? Now, what does that mean? Greatest integer function is lying between minus 1 and 1. What does that mean? Whatever is this one here, x squared plus half should lie between minus 1 and 2. For example, greatest integer function should lie between minus 1 and 1, right? Like this. So that means open bracket here and close bracket here, right? At this point, x can be minus 1, right? Sorry, x squared plus half can be minus 1. Then greatest integer function of x squared plus half will be minus 1. But x squared plus half cannot be equal to 2. If it is equal to 2, then this will not be equal to 1, right? Greatest integer function of x squared plus half will become 2. So it has to be lesser than 2. Okay. So x squared plus half should be less than 2, but it can be greater than or equal to minus 1 as for this. Now, what does that mean? X square will subtract half from both sides. We'll get minus 1 minus half, which is minus 3 by 2, less than or equal to x square, less than 2 minus 1 by 2, which is 3 by 2. X square obviously cannot be lesser than 0. So this is equal to 0 less than or equal to x square less than 3 by 2. This is equivalent to that. Okay. Now, similarly, this one, x square minus half, again, should be um, same condition, minus 1, x square minus half should lie between this one and this one, which is nothing but minus 1 less than or equal to x square minus half should be less than 2. Again adding plus half on both sides, we'll get minus half less than or equal to x square less than half. This is nothing but 0 less than or equal to x square less than half, because obviously x square cannot be negative. Now we have two conditions, x square less than 3 by 2, x square less than 5 by 2. We need the intersection of these two, right? Obviously, what is the intersection? So this is 5 by 2, which is higher, which is 3 by 2 is lower. So x square should be less than 3 by 2. This is the final condition. So the domain we have figured out, x square can be less than 3 by 2. Okay. X square can be less than 2 by 2, 3 by 2. So x square and can be greater than or equal to 0. So now let us break this x square into 0 to 1 by 2 and 1 by 2 to 3 by 2, because there is a 1 by 2 here. Okay, there is a 1 by 2 here, 0 to 1 by 2. And x square is less than 1 by 2. What will happen to x square plus half? Greatest integer function of x square plus half. This will be less than 1. Right. This will be less than 1. So greatest integer function of this thing should be equal to 0. That is this. Okay. What will happen to this when it is less than 1 by 2? This will be cos inverse of this thing. Right. This will be between when x is 0, this becomes 0 minus 1 by 2. When x is close to 1 by 2, okay, this will be between minus 1 by 2 to 0, right? Which is what is the greatest integer function of this? This will be equal to minus 1. Okay, x is lying between minus half to 0. 0 is not included because x square is less than half. So something lesser than half minus half. So that will be lesser than 0. Okay. So minus after 1. So greatest integer function of this is equal to minus 1. So sine inverse 0 is what? This is 0. Cos inverse minus 1, this is pi. So together it is pi. Okay. Now between half and 3 by 2. Okay, between half and 3 by 2. What will this be? Half less than or equal to x square less than 3 by 2. So this will be between 1 and 2. Right, between 1 and 2. So this greatest integer function of this thing will become will always be 1, right? Because 2 is not included. So this value is lying between 1 to 2. So this greatest integer function of x will be 1. Okay. Similarly, this one half to uh half, this one x square minus half is lying between half minus half. This is 0 and 3 by 2 minus half. This is 1 open bracket. Okay, it is not equal to, it should be less than 3 by 2. So 0 close bracket and 1 open bracket. So this entire part, greatest integer function of x square minus half should be equal to 0. That is this one, cos inverse 0. Sin inverse 1 plus cos inverse 0, both again pi by 2 plus pi by 2, which is equal to pi. In both the cases, the range is actually pi only. So whatever is x square, if x square is lying between 0 and 3 by 2, y is always pi. So what is the range? The range is pi. This is the correct answer. Right, guys? Simple problem. We have to first carefully understand what is the domain of this function and then carefully calculate breaking the range with respect to the domain. Right. Domain, if we break it properly, we'll figure out that the range is always pi.